At Optavia, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The following audio contains the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the Optavia community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope these stories inspire you to continue your journey with or join Optavia, but please note they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the US or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with Optavia. Additionally, this audio may contain income or earning representations of some independent Optavia coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with Optavia is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Optavia acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to Optavia coaches in the US, Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent Optavia coaches operating in the US, please see the Optavia Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of US coaches under the US Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent Optavia coaches operating in the US under the US Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in Health, the Optavia team.
All right, like I said, I am Dan Valentine, and this is my lovely wife, Megan Valentine. We are independent, certified Optavia coaches, and we have been with Optavia for about almost 6.5 years now, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's been a crazy ride. We are absolutely in love with this company. And I'll just say this from the beginning, because some of you are on here and you're like, who's Optavia? What's Optavia? Well, one thing, the second fastest, is that right? Second fastest growing company in the world but Fortune magazine just told us we were one of the fastest growing companies in the world. We're a publicly traded company. I knew nothing about this company, but what I did know when I was introduced to Optavia, much like you are right now, is I knew that it absolutely changed my life. I was 85 pounds overweight. I was miserable, although the crazy thing is we settle into our level in our life, our level of our happiness, our level of our unhappiness. And I had settled into my life where I didn't realize how miserable I was until I got my life back. I was 85 pounds overweight. I was insecure. I was compensating with other areas. I didn't feel like I was a good dad. I didn't feel like I was a good husband. And I just wasn't me. I wasn't the me that I had dreamed of when I was a kid. And I'm so grateful for my coach who introduced me to Optavia. And I'll just share this real quick. And Megan's going to share a little bit of a different perspective on our story because she had a different vantage point. But as you know, like I said, we've been part of Optavia for 6 years, and I've loved every moment of it. And the more I got to know the company, because like I said, I didn't even think to research the company or what's this company all about. I just trusted my friend. And some of you are just going to trust your friend or trust this webinar, hopefully trust us tonight, but feel free to do your research. I just didn't do that. So I got in and I saw the results. And the more I got to know the company, the more I got to discover, oh, wow, this is a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. Our company, doesn't have any debt. And then we got to know the corporate team and how amazing those people are. And then we got to know the company's CEO and the company's president. And it's like the deeper we got into the company, just from a lowly client out here doing the program, as we became coaches and leaders in the company, I'm telling you, it got better and better and better. And we're just such a missional company driven to make a difference in this world. And that's what tonight is about.
Yep. I love that tonight is called a health and hope night, because I think if there was ever a time in this world where we needed those two things, it would be exiting 2020 and heading into 2021. So I will say that for sure, that I hope you get out of this tonight, this opportunity to find health at a brand new level, but also to find hope, because 7 years ago, that is what we needed. Yeah. We were at a place where we were running fast paced, crazy jobs, chasing 3 kids, tired, terrible habits, a bit in survival mode. And I have to be honest, I can remember the moment that my husband went out to jump on the trampoline with our kids, and he came back about 2 minutes later thinking that he was legitimately having a heart attack. And I can remember that there was a few of those moments where he in his mind thought he could like chase them at the park or do certain things. And he found himself winded and then frustrated, and how it was affecting him and affecting his ability to show up for our family in the way that I knew he could and he knew he could. And it was after he found this program, it was literally within the first couple of weeks that the light came back in his eyes as he had found hope. He really began to see amazing results, but more than that, the community, the mindset shifts, everything that we're going to talk about tonight began to take place in him. And so whether you are a person that's personally looking for health, or you have a loved one that is in desperate need of health, I just am excited that you showed up here tonight. I don't know how you found yourself here. Maybe it was an invitation or you happened upon this. You know, I hope that right now you're tagging your friends in Facebook as you're thinking about this, or you're sharing this, because that is what we want to bring, health and hope, to all of the corners of the country and everywhere in the world that we're going tonight, and to be able to just share with you this health and this hope, because it is for everyone.
You know, when you experience life change at the level that we have, it's not about the business. It's not about making an income. We feel compelled to pay it forward. I became a coach. We became coaches because I experienced such a drastic change in my life. I was like, I won't be able to live with myself if I don't pay this forward. And that's why we're on here tonight. So if you're a coach that's on here, or a current client, who do you know that needs to hear what we're about to talk about? Who do you know that's desperate like I was, that's miserable, and they might not even know to the degree that they are? Go ahead and tag them. Share this broadcast. If you're watching the replay, who's somebody you can tag? Hey, you might want to check this out. You can share it to your timeline, but let's get this word out. All right. So let me share my screen again here, and that's my story. But the question I want to ask you is, what about your story? What is it that you want? Can you put that in the chat or in the comments? What do you want in your life? You know, Megan mentioned the word for 2021, but where do you want to see a change? Well, we're going to show you the secret to making a life change, the agenda for life change, which also happens to be the agenda for tonight. And the key is this: the formula for success and life change in any area. You know, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Yeah. So you can watch this and you can get excited and you can say, oh, I want to make a change. But if you don't make specific changes in your life, nothing will change. You will get the exact same results that you got last year and the year before and every other time that you've tried. And this is something that can break that cycle. But the equation for success is three-part. One, it's your mindset. You got to change what's happening between your two ears there. You got to be awakened to the secrets and the keys and the clues, the tips to make that change. It's got to happen in your mind. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen. You know, you can just do the work and not believe it, and you'll see results if you do the right work. But the problem is most people won't do the work if they don't have the belief. So where's your mindset at? What I love is Optavia addresses that. The next one
is the skill set, because you have to learn how to decide to move forward in your health from people who've successfully created it. What I love is that here at Optavia, we do things together. In a year of isolation and loneliness, I'm telling you, this health journey is amazing, not just because you get results, but because you have fun on the journey. And the community that we were introduced to is really what kept us, because there's people who have already been where you are. They can relate to you and they can lead you and guide you. I love that.
And then lastly, if there's no action, nothing happens. I look at it like if you've got a vehicle out in your driveway, whether it's the nicest vehicle in the world, which I happen to believe Optavia is an amazing vehicle that can get you wherever it is that you want to go, whether it be healthy mind, healthy body, or healthy finances, which we're going to be talking about in just a moment. But you can have that vehicle out in your driveway. It can actually run perfectly. It could actually be filled with gas. But until you get in that vehicle, you open the door, get in it, but that's still not enough. You have to either push the button or turn the key, depending on what the vehicle is, and you have to put it into drive, and you have to put your foot on the pedal. That's with anything in life. Without you getting into action, without acting on the change in your mindset and the skill sets that you've learned, nothing happens. So we're going to be addressing all three of those tonight. We're going to show you how to do that, and just keep that formula in mind for any area of your life that you want to make a change in.
Awesome. Well, let's do our first poll.
Poll time.
Woo-hoo. So I want you to answer this poll which answer best describes you? We're just curious who is in the audience tonight, who we are talking to. Are you a guest? Are you an Optavia client from the USA? Are you an Optavia client from Hong Kong or Singapore?
Hi, Hong Kong. Hi, Singapore. We love you.
Are you an independent Optavia coach in the USA or an independent Optavia coach in Hong Kong, Singapore? Now, I recognize if you're on Facebook, you maybe don't have the poll. Give us your answer in the chat. Let us know who you are. Who are we talking to tonight? Let's see, and we'll get the poll results in just a minute. But
all right. And wherever you happen to be, we want to welcome you. We're glad you're all here and we are ready to actually jump into this. By the way, we forgot to mention this. Don't worry, you're not going to listen to us talk this whole time. We have some stories that will absolutely blow your mind. If you're just checking things out, if you're a current client or you're a coach or you're the top leader in this company, hi, Dr. A. This will inspire you tonight. The stories will absolutely propel you forward. So stay tuned. I'm so excited about this. And actually, one of our stories, I'm going to put him on the spot. He might be actually rapping live on. I'm just saying, okay, we'll see. All right. So who are we? Where do we come from?
Yeah. So I don't know. We just did a shout out to Dr. A, Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, but I absolutely love being able to share with you the heart behind this company, the mission from the very founder himself. You can see all of the amazing accolades that he has. But more than that, as we've been able to spend time with him, I think at every event, virtual and in person, he is almost brought to tears at the opportunity that we have and the burden that he feels to be able to bring health, optimal health to this world, to really help people live and create their best lives, to live the kind of lives that matter most to them. And we can do that through health. We have the energy, the confidence, and the capability to live our best lives when we're healthy. And so I love that he's passionate about this.
And I remember one of the reasons that we're part of Optavia to this day is I went to a meeting that Dr. A was speaking at, and I fully expected to show up and hear people talking about how to get a big house or how to get this car or reach that dream or do this or whatever. It was my concept in my mind.
A little cynical.
And I was a little cynical, like some of you are on here right now, right? We all are to a degree. And I showed up and I remember Dr. A came out and he started talking about our mission. I didn't know anything about Optavia. I didn't even know what the mission was. And he started talking about, and I had just started as a client. I was like 2 weeks in. I was down maybe 15 pounds and I was loving the program, but I didn't know anything about the company. Dr. A walked out and I remember he got tears in his eyes, like Megan just said. And he said, there are people outside these doors that are desperate for what we have. Yeah. We don't have a right to hold this back from people. That's what's most important. And I looked at him and I thought, I could really get behind this guy. And I could tell he believes it with all of his heart. It is 100% genuine and authentic. And you'll be glad to know that that DNA filters, or that culture filters through our entire company.
I love that. So I won't go through and read all of these statistics. I hope that you can kind of glance there and see them. But I will tell you that, it's pretty clear that we have some needs, some situations in our current world today with the worldwide obesity, with people being overweight, with stress financially. You can see there that people are reporting money is a major source of conflict in their relationship. 69% of workers were stressed over their finances. Depression and anxiety were more than triple in 2020 than they were in 2019. And this simple question, how are you, has turned into an emotional minefield. Can you talk about that?
I mean, you're scared to ask that question of people these days. Hey, how are you? Because you don't know what you're going to get. You care about how people are, but there are so many people going through so much. And what I love is there's three main areas that we're going to be focusing on, that Optavia focuses on, that people right now are desperate to make a change in. It's their finances, right? How many of you know somebody that's lost their job? Their business has been shut down. They've lost their main source of income. They're looking for an opportunity, or there's just too much month at the end of the bills, right? Or too many bills at the end of the month, I should say. I remember what that was like for us. And I used to hate walking to the mailbox because I was afraid of what bill was going to be in there and when the due date was.
You hated the mailbox and I hated the credit card in the cash register, like checkout. I wasn't sure if it was going to go through.
Yeah, she would call me from the grocery store and be like, is this card good for $84 in groceries? You know, I'm looking on the app real quick and calling. And I realize that's where a lot of people are at, especially right now today. So we've got a solution when it comes to financial health. What about mental health, mindset? People right now, I mean, I'm not going to get into specifics of it, but we need a mindset shift in this country and in this world today. We need hope, like we've been talking about. And then the third area, physical health, right? How important is that right now in 2020 going into 2021? Wow. And what I love is that we offer a solution for all those things. And let me show you, this is not the secret, but we are revealing the secret to lifelong transformation. And here's the 4 areas that our program focuses on. First one is you're going to have every single client and every single coach and leader has a health coach, an independent Optavia coach that is going to help you get started on the program well, help you get everything you need and walk you through and help hold you accountable as you're on your journey towards financial health, physical health, and mental health.
Yep. And the Habits of Health transformational system, which is what sets us apart. And I love this. I'm so passionate about this. I tell everybody that is interested in becoming a client that each one of these components are 25% of our program and what will create the results. You can't do one component. For lifelong transformation, it is these 4 components that are necessary. But these Habits of Health transformational system, I always say, you can take your body on a journey, but you got to take your mind with you to have those lasting results. And what's amazing is that this specific system is going to help you figure out your triggers and your habits and identifying. We want to help you get healthy one habit at a time. And so it's not overwhelming, but it is self-awareness and it's incredible.
And then the third component is the amazing Optavia community. And when we joined Optavia, we didn't know much about the community at all. And I'll tell you, it is one of the best kept secrets of Optavia. People come in to lose some weight or to get healthy or whatever, but then you get the community. I mean, that's such a bonus that we got that I never expected. I always say this, we are a personal development company, the growth that's happened in our lives, and community company disguised as a health and wellness company. The community you're part of, the personal growth. I mean, we've grown personally just through the relationships and the people we've surrounded ourselves with more over the last 6 years than I think in the entire rest of our lives.
Yeah, I love it. And all the resources that there are, not just via relationships, but connecting with other people that are doing the program, the Habits of Health calls, the podcast, like there is so
Facebook
much
groups
available to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're part of a private Facebook group.
Yep.
With other clients and coaches. You just feel like you're not on this journey alone. You're in a community. So you're not alone.
Yes. There's so many different ways to tap into the community. So last but not least, Optavia Fuelings.
Yes. So this is what you're going to be eating basically. How many of you would like first of all, to skip the meal prep? How many of you spend your Sundays, or you've tried before, busting out all the Tupperware and doing all your food prep for the week and cooking 28 chicken breasts,
needing to go to 3 stores to get all the ingredients.
Yeah, and 12 bags of broccoli and putting them all into Tupperwares. And I have tried that, and that is great. And you feel awesome the first time you do it. By about the 4th week, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. So we are going to do away with the food prep. We're going to do away with the counting macros and counting calories and all of that. We're going to give you what it is that you need to consume. You don't have to guess. It takes the guesswork out of it. Here is what you eat. Basically, you eat 6 times a day. You want to know how to move a little closer to the road to health? Eat 6 times a day. 5 of those meals are provided for you. They're what we call fuelings because you're going to be fueling your body. Bars, shakes. You can see some of the meals on there. Mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, cinnamon crunchers is one of my favorite. S'mores bars are, all kinds of different things. And then you're going to do one lean and green meal that you do yourself, and we show you exactly how to do that. It is so simple. You cannot mess this up.
Yeah. And I love to be able to say that this actually shifts your relationship with food. So
Yes.
It isn't about the taste of this food or a little bit of this or a little bit of that, because food is fuel. It's not our best friend. It's not our stress reliever. It's not our entertainment. And so getting healthy is getting a healthy mindset and shifting your relationship with food. And we have multiple plans depending upon your goals. And that's why you can, reach out to whoever invited you, and you'll be able to do a health assessment to figure out which program is best for you.
I love it. All right. So before we introduce our next story, Vernon and Nikki, and I can't wait for you to hear from them. They're such incredible people. I guess that's our first story aside from ours, right? Is it okay? All right. Vernon and Nikki are awesome. So we're going to introduce you to them in just a second. But we want you to look at this, what we call this trilogy wheel. So what we've done here is we've taken the healthy body, the healthy mind, and the healthy finances, which are all, there's like a thread that runs between all of them. And you can look at this and give yourself a score from 2 all the way up to 10. So I want you to think of this as like a bullseye. When you're shooting an arrow or playing darts or whatever, you're trying to hit the center of that bullseye. You're trying to get a 10. So I want you just to think about real quick to yourself, in each of these areas on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, where would you rate yourself as far as having a healthy body? Think about that for a second. If you want to throw your number, if you're brave enough to do that in the chat or in the comments, then go ahead and do that. But complete honesty here. You don't have to answer if you don't want to publicly, but where would you rate yourself healthy body? Secondly, when it comes to your mind, how healthy is your mind when it comes to food, when it comes to exercise, nutrition, when it comes to environment, when it comes to stress, when it comes to, so many areas, how healthy is your mind on a scale of 1 to 10? Rate yourself. Okay, in your mind, put a little dot on this chart here. And then lastly, healthy finances. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? And I know what these numbers are going to be. I talk to people every day, and it's so sad how many people are not in a healthy place financially.
Yep, and we'll give you some time to think about this too, because we're going to bring up a poll later.
Yeah, we're gonna do a poll, but I just want you to think about these and how close are you to the bullseye. And our goal, and I know Dr. A's mission and all of our mission as coaches, is to help move you closer to the center of that bullseye. Yep. That's why we're here tonight. Yep. So should we bring them on?
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, Vernon and Niki Davis, come on. We want to welcome you. We're so excited you guys are here. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and share a little bit of your story, if you would.
So hello, family. We are Vernon and Niki Davis. We are just excited, crazy excited to be here. Thankful to Dan and Megan for giving us this opportunity to tell our story. Definitely thankful to our senior mentor coaches, Drew and Jana Epperson, and my brother / health coach, Vincent Davis, that brought us into this beautiful system we call Optavia. We started, we had started our health journeys. I started mine about 3 years ago, actually, and Nikki started coming on into her health journey back in January of 2020. And we were just kind of on different paths, and it came around the mid part of this pandemic in June that my brother discovered Optavia from one of his neighbors, and he started talking to us about it around that time. And it took Nikki about 2 months to kind of see his transformation, his energy, and I'm seeing his energy change and in the very first parts of it. And in August, she decides to come on to program. And when she ordered her kit, 3 days later, I wasn't initially going to start, but I decided to support her health journey. And one of the best decisions I ever made, not only for us, but for me, it takes off like a train. I mean, this program has been amazing to us. We've, in terms of the effects to our bodies, has been amazing. So I'm down 50 pounds as of December from starting August 24th. Nikki's down 34 pounds, and both have tons of energy, tons of mental focus, tons of just mental clarity, brain fog out, and it's just been amazing. And like Dan said, the community just adds to that. And you know, I just challenge you, if you're on the fence and wanting to get your health journey started, this program right here, this community, this system, this network is it. It's completely more than sustainable. What we've been able to garner from it has been even beyond the weight loss. So the weight loss is great, but to have the sleep, the mental focus when you get up, and be able to communicate, the structure is added to our family, the anxiety that we've both been able to subside has been amazing. Like, don't have to spend 5-6 days a week in the gym. I'm spending more time at home, being more efficient with my time, not channeling my energy to food, but channeling that energy to positive places. And the program, what it's going to do is allow you to really discover things about yourself through the transformational system. So we can't tell enough people about it. If we invited you tonight, it's because we care about you. And if we haven't invited you, it's because we hadn't got to you yet, because we're telling as many people as we can about it. Our mantra is to spread this hope as far as love will reach. And I challenge you, start your health journey now, not now, but right now. So I'm gonna turn it over to Nikki, and that's my time.
Good evening, everyone. So like a lot of you that are with us tonight, I have personally tried pretty much anything and everything to try to lose weight, right? I wanted that get skinny quick scheme, if you will. As like I said, probably a lot of you on here tonight has. And until we found this program, just struggling with weight. I've had weight issues all of my life. I was concerned, as Vernon mentioned, it took me 2 months to actually make a decision to try Optavia. And I had concerns about the food. We live in Tennessee, we're in the South, we like to eat, as you guys know. So I was just concerned about, is it going to taste like cardboard? What am I going to do every day? But I'm amazed at how simple the program is. And then when you realize that the food is just one component of the program, and what it brings to you is just amazing. And like Vernon said, we can't tell enough people about it. Personally, I was tired of being the fluffy girl in my friends group. Some of you probably can get an amen with me on that one. I was buying solid 16s and extra larges, concerned about getting larger. I've always had a sassiness and confidence about me, so no one would have ever thought that, I had these like internal issues or felt a certain way about myself. But ultimately, I didn't like the way I looked in pictures. I didn't like where I had to shop. I didn't like the way my clothes fit. Felt sluggish, no energy, all that stuff that comes along, right, with being overweight. And also, in the back of my mind, even though I hadn't done anything to try to prevent it, my mom and my aunts and a couple of my cousins have been diagnosed with diabetes. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, more than likely that's the path you're headed to, but yet you're not doing anything to change. So once we found this change and we actually did it, it's the best decision that I feel like I've ever made. I have 3 kids, and a demanding job. So trying to go to the gym, I've never been a gym person. So trying to do that, like I would just make excuses and not go, right? But now I can actually get on our elliptical that's actually in my office upstairs. I can actually be on it for 30 minutes without feeling like I'm going to pass out. Like before I lost the weight, I can maybe stay on it 5 to 7 minutes without feeling like literally I was going to fall off of it. And while the weight loss is tremendous. Just the overall feeling that it gives you. Like, I really didn't know how bad I felt until I lost the weight. Like, it's amazing, the energy. Like, I posted the other day, like, what all I got done on a Saturday. 6 months ago, I would have like probably watched TV all day. Like, it's just amazing what it'll do for you. The kicker for me is I went out with some girlfriends for dinner that I hadn't seen in a while because of, the pandemic that we're in, guys. And I had lost about 22 pounds at that time, I think. And one of my besties that was with me, she saw me for the first time in person. And she was like, Nikki, I never looked at you and thought you need to lose weight. She was like, but you look fantastic and I'm so proud of you. So I'm just truly thankful, and I'm going to wrap this up. I'm just truly thankful that God put our mentors, Drew and Jana, in the path of our brother-in-law who told us about this amazing program. And just to share with you tonight, my only regret is that I did not sign up for the program when my brother-in-law was trying to tell me about it. Everything else is amazing, and it's truly transformative. And if you're with us tonight, you're here for a reason. There's someone that cares about you personally. There's someone that cares about your health. So please reach out to them and get more information. And just thank you tonight for your time. And thank you, Dan and Megan, for letting us share a little bit of our story.
I love it. So Vernon, so if we have time at the end, are you going to give us a little rap?
I'll put him on the spot.
Yes, indeed. The rap is coming.
Indeed. Okay. All right. We're gonna call you on that. We heard he did that on another live, a specific rap he wrote about health in 2021. It's awesome. So anyway, we're gonna fly through some of this so that we have time. It's a short one. You got to hear from him. So thank you guys, Vernon, Nikki. Love your story. They're such great people. Thank you for being brave and courageous and coming on this Zoom. Wait till the rap comes at the end. All right. Bye, guys.
No, that was awesome. And I don't know about you, but those stories just do not get old for me.
No.
These stories of life change, these stories of just seeing what can happen in people's lives when they decide and when they say yes. So maybe you are a current client. And if you are, I do have a poll question for you right now. But I'm curious, how often do you typically connect with your coach? Okay. So is it 1 to 2 times a week? Is it every other week? 1 to 2 times a month? As needed, or I'm a guest and excited to learn more. So which one is that? Let us know in the chat and Facebook, or finish your poll here. And that may depend on where you're at in your health journey. Who knows? But just for where you're at.
And I think we'll show these results later,
we are
right?
going to show these results.
Yeah. All right. We know what we're doing here. Okay. Results to this poll coming up. Let me look here at my coach. I would say at least this. All right. I just had to fill out the poll as well to get it off of my screen and get my results in there.
All right. Who's next?
Next up, I am so fired up. You are going to love this story. So Vernon and Nikki focused, you'll notice out all these stories, we tried to have each person kind of focus in one area. Like Vernon and Nikki was kind of the healthy body transformation, but you can see it bleeds over into the healthy mind and the healthy finances. So you're going to see that on all 3 stories tonight, but you are in for a real treat. And I have been practicing all day how to say her last name. So I hope I get it right, or I hope she at least acts like I do when I say it, but she's going to be focused on a little more of the healthy mind, but you're going to hear about her physical transformation, all 3 areas. So Leaha Bourgeois.
You got it.
Oh, boom. Woo. Winning over here. All right, Leah, take it away. Introduce yourself, where you're from, and share a little bit of your story, please.
Thank you, Dan and Megan, for having me, and for everyone that's on this call. You are meant to be here in this very time and place, and I am so glad that you're here. I'm a Texas girl, but I'm living in a New Jersey world. I never thought I'd actually be speaking on a platform like this because I just struggle from crippling anxiety, you guys. But I'm showing up tonight. I got my notes. And I'm doing it scared because you know what? Sometimes you just got to take that risk and do it. So that is me. And I heard something recently that really resonated with me. And I hope that it resonates with you too tonight. It is, courage is not in the absence of fear. Courage means you move forward in the face of fear. So that is what I am doing tonight. And I am showing up in my vulnerability for you guys. I just recently, this year in 2020, I lost 70 pounds with Optavia. Can you believe that? 70 pounds. It changed my entire life. But I got to take you back a little bit. Let's take a little trip back to December of last year, sitting in the same spot that some of you are sitting in right now. I was depressed. I was full of anxiety. I was overweight. I was considered obese. I had a bonus baby at 40. Yay! God surprised me. But I was also raising a 9-year-old and had a 23-year-old at the same time. Whew, it was a lot to handle. And I just knew at that point, I've been raising children my whole life. And I was like, how in the heck am I going to make myself a priority now? How am I going to find the time and the space to do that? Like all that meal prep and people were talking about earlier. I was like, I don't have time to do that. And so I was just super overwhelmed. And I was like, I didn't recognize my own body. I didn't recognize who I was. I was in physical pain. My joint pain was out of this world. I would wake up in the morning hurting. Anybody feel me on that? Has that ever happened to you? I was running on empty, really, guys. I was just surviving. I was not thriving. And I was a wedding photographer and I worked 14 hours on my feet. Anybody work long hours on your feet? And that weight and the joint pain would just cripple me for days. And back in December, I just felt hopeless. Where am I going to go from here? Well, 3 months previous to this December of 2019, I talked to an Optavia coach and she was lovely and inspiring and she was awakening this thing inside of me that made me excited. But guess what, you guys? I did the ultimate. I ghosted her. I did. I ghosted her. It was totally not her fault. It was just that I was not ready. Everything that she was saying and presenting me about Optavia just sounded too good to be true. And I was just not ready to make that fundamental choice for myself. So I ghosted her. But don't worry, I came back in that December that we were talking about and I took her up on it and gave it a chance. And I remember ordering the box and I was so nervous, but I did it anyways. And guess what I did? You probably thought, oh, you started before Christmas. No, folks, I held on to that box for another month because I still had fear. It was engraved inside of me. It was just engraved inside of me that I was going to fail myself. I was going to fail my family. I was going to fail my coach. I was just going to fail, period. But guess what? The best way to get something done is to begin. How many of you need to just take the step? I had such an unhealthy mindset. Some bad habits learned over a long time. My self-esteem was low, but my personality is really bubbly. It's kind of, a misconception about me. But I was a person standing in my own way. I figured it out. I was like, wait a minute, nothing is stopping me except for myself. Is that you? Are you stopping yourself? I love what Dr. A has to say here, you guys. He says, you don't need to believe in yourself. Hear me again. You do not need to believe in yourself, but you can start taking steps towards who you want to be, and the belief will follow. How about that? So I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe I could lose 70 pounds. So I believed in the coach that was given to me. I listened to her and she said, let's just do one thing at a time. I said, okay, I can do one thing at a time. So that's what we did. We focused on one thing, getting me healthy. I started reading my life book and putting that good stuff up here between the ears, right? Like Dan said. And then I started eating those fuelings and eating that lean and green and nutrition and getting that in my body. And then I started changing my mindset slowly. I started leaning into my coach. I was reading my life book every morning. I started a morning routine because when you start hanging out with people, guys, that want to do better and be more and grow, you start acting that way too. And so this community has taught me things like morning routines, which has changed my life. Then I started just immersing myself in this community because it is a lonely world that we're living in right now. Many of us are stuck at home, working from home, raising children and homeschool from home, and we need connection. And that is what I found. And I'm so, so grateful for that. So all along the way, I was building my confidence. My self-esteem started to go up. The weight started to slowly come off. My physical body started to change and people started to notice. And in that moment, something magical happened. My inside started to change, you guys. My inside, my soul, my spirit, the essence of who I really am. I actually walked back into her. I found her again when I thought I would never see her again. And I'm so, so grateful. I started to change everything about my life, every area. But it reminds me of 20 years ago. It reminds me all the way back to when, not that long ago, I was suffering from crippling anxiety where I couldn't even leave the house. I couldn't leave the house. I was so scared that I would have a panic attack and black out in the mall or the store or the Target or the Walmart. It was keeping me from living life. It was stealing my joy. And it was a secret. It was something that I didn't really share publicly with a lot of people. I was good at hiding it. I think some of you might understand that. But this program, it allowed me to start winning. I started winning at life. I was winning in my body. I was winning in my mental health, which has always been my struggle, because I had good support. I had easy nutrition, and I had healthy people to hang out with. It's a game changer, you guys. And as my body started to shrink, guess what happened? My dreams got bigger. My dreams got bigger, and I started to become the dominant force in my life. Me, I'm in charge of the outcome of my life for once. It is my responsibility, and no longer am I waiting or reacting to see what life is going to throw at me. Because guess what? Life is full of obstacles. And what I've recently learned is that obstacles are the way. Embrace your obstacles. Wrap your arms around them. Ask them, what do you have to teach me? What can I learn from you? And stop playing the victim. That's what I had to start doing for myself. Great things had to be put in place to keep my healthy mind, you guys. I make monthly, weekly, and daily promises to myself. I write them down on a sticky note. I plaster them by my computer, and I remind myself of the promises I want to keep to myself. It is a game changer. And morning routines, amazing. Starting and finishing your day your way will change everything. It helps you to live in the moment with gratitude and with intention. Whoo, I'm preaching now. But my coach said something to me, and I want to share it with you guys. And she said it several times, and it just didn't stick. But recently, it just all started making sense. And she says, a rising tide lifts all boats. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back. A rising tide lifts all boats. My rising tide was me choosing my personal health. That was it. That was it. And all the other boats, my emotional, my mental, my physical, my relationships with people, everything rose. All the boats rose, guys. It is so amazing what happens. And now that's one of my favorite quotes. It's one of my favorite mantras I want to live by, because I have a good community. I have good support, easy food. Everything just started to work for me, you guys. And I changed from the inside out, and I say from the outside in. And I wanted to become a coach. I wanted to pay it forward. And that's what I've been doing. And guys, I have never been more solid in my nutrition and in my health than I have been since being a coach. The coaching changed my life. It changed me. It changed my family. It changed my finances. I'm so grateful. I'm filled with purpose and passion, and I'm living like I've never lived before. And what I thought was just a weight loss diet turned into a full life transformation. And I can honestly say I am living the best version of myself. And I'm so grateful to Dr. A and the Habits of Health and my coaches and my teams. And if I could go back in time and I could talk to the girl in December of last year, or to you on the other side of the screen that's trying to figure out how to change so much in your life and it feels so overwhelming, I just want to tell her and you this. You've got this. It's right here in front of you. You were here and invited for a reason. And the only regret that that girl should have is that she didn't start sooner. And I'm just so grateful to be here tonight. Thank you, Megan and Dan. And I'm just so grateful tonight. God bless everybody.
Leah, that was awesome. Straight fire with total authenticity and transparency. And the chat was lighting up because people relate to what you have to say. So it's been amazing to watch your transformation. So excited for you. Thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate you. All right, we are going to jump into quick poll results. Oh, look at that. 61% of people said they typically connect with their coach 1 to 2 times a week. Love that. All right, speaking of coaching,
Yes. So here's what happens, and Leah mentioned this just a little bit. People are going to notice when they start to see a change. And I remember I had weight loss, but people noticed a different look in my eyes. It was like there was a light in my eyes for the first time in many years that some people had never seen before in my eyes. It was that light that I had when I was younger. How many of you remember when you were younger? Some of you are younger now. Cherish your 20s or your late teens. But that light kind of dimmed a little bit. But whether it's your weight loss, whether it's your outlook, your mentality, whether it's that look in your eyes, whatever it is, people are going to notice, and they're going to ask you. We say that's one of the side effects of joining Optavia is people are going to notice. You cannot hide it, and that's what you want. And people are going to ask you, like, right, like ladies, when you get a new shirt, right? People are like, "Where'd you get that shirt?" Guys don't really do that. I don't know. And of course, you ladies are like, I got it on sale at such and such. Like, you just want to brag about it. So when somebody asks you about, hey, how did you lose that weight? Because there's so many people that we're surrounded by that want to make a change in their life. You have two choices. You can refer them to your coach, and your coach will take very good care of them. I think the best way is to introduce them to your coach over a group text so they can kind of jump in the conversation with your coach, and your coach can speak to them. But there's a bunch of different ways to do it. But your coach will tell you how to do that. Or you can make a choice to pay it forward, like many clients end up doing. And I had never intended to when I became a client. And I'll tell you, it's one of the best decisions of my life.
I think too, like one of the reasons it's so amazing is because it's also part of strategically getting healthy community around you to sustain your results, whether it's getting to your goal weight or just being on the journey with others. It helps your own personal success too. It makes it fun.
Yeah, and when you find something good, you want people to go with you.
Yeah.
You want to, you know,
True
if you're a good
Better
person,
together.
you want to pay it forward and you want to help other people. So there's two ways to help other people. So some of the benefits of becoming a coach, there's a bunch of benefits. We won't go through them all, but it provides another layer of accountability. Yeah. It gives you an opportunity to make a difference in people's lives. We get compensated very well, but I tell you, the best compensation of being coaches is the impact that we get to make in people's lives. It's just so exciting to be a part of, and it's fun, it's rewarding. We've talked about the community, the compensation, you know, like I said, the currency of goodwill, not to mention, you know, financial needs, goals. There's the opportunity is limitless. And then most of all, your ability, you know, I've heard this before, when we die, you don't ever see a U-Haul behind the hearse. There's not a lot of things that we can take with us, but what we can take with us is our legacy and the impact that, or I should say, we leave it behind, the impact on other people. That's going to stand forever. So to talk a little bit about the coaching side of things, this couple has had an amazing transformation. As you can see in these pictures, they don't even look like the same people, but they're going to come on. For those of you that might be interested, hey, what is this? What does it look like to pay it forward, to become a coach? What exactly can that do in my life? We've asked Chris and Heather Wallace to come on and share a little bit about their journey from client to coach and how coaching has made a difference in their lives. Chris and Heather, are you there?
Yes, thank you so much, Dan, Megan. Oh gosh, we love you guys. And it was such incredible. Oh my God, it was so incredible to hear Niki and Vernon's story, and Leah. We could have really shut the call down right there, because you know, you just hear all this inspiration, and it's really, for us, has been the greatest decision we've ever made, is to, you know, take control of our health. And you know, 3 years ago, I was extremely unhealthy. I had a lot of weight to lose, and you know, honestly, y'all, I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I saw friends of mine, actually pastors that we worked with, the greatest people ever, and we knew them, we trusted them. They just were bold enough to live their life out loud, and I saw that they were having success where I needed success. Right? I saw that they were doing something with their health that I needed to do, so I reached out and just asked the question, "What do I do?" Obviously, we became a client. And then the greatest thing that I ever heard was that your transformation should bring inspiration. And just like our coaches and our mentors, our friends that we watch transform in front of us, it empowered us to feel like that's something that we could do. And, you know, we've been in ministry now almost 18 years. We really want to empower other people to make a change for the better in their life. And, you know, we wanted to make that change in our health here. But also, y'all, we needed help financially in such a massive way, right? And we had hope in so many other areas. We wanted hope in our health, but we needed hope in our finances. And coaching really became a thing for us that honestly set us free. And we knew that we could make an impact in our health, but the transformation that we made, we had no clue how much inspiration was going to come to other people.
No, and I honestly, maybe you can understand this, especially this time of year. I really didn't know how to even dream beyond my current reality and my current circumstances. And 3 years ago, this month is so significant that we're doing this Zoom and we're having this conversation in December. It's significant for me because 3 years ago, we had just taken a vacation with our children that we had to put on credit cards, that we looked to see what was off season and we searched for the least expensive thing because we were just in a season where we were super busy. We were raising our kids. We were pastoring our church. We were both working outside of our church as well. I was homeschooling our kids. We were busy. That's part of the reason we weren't healthy. And we were in that season and we knew that there had to be better. But y'all, I honestly had tried everything else and I didn't know how to believe beyond what I was currently experiencing. So I want you to just give yourself permission tonight or today, whatever time you may be watching this, to dream a little bit beyond what you currently see. Because I couldn't imagine that we could lose over 200 pounds combined. What? I could have never imagined that. I couldn't have imagined that I could have freedom in the area of finances. Y'all, we've been in ministry a long time and nobody really goes into ministry because we want to just earn some big salary. We want our lives to count. We want to help people. We want to partner with people. And so when I saw our friends and our mentors radically change their life and their health in all these areas, I had hope that I could do that. But I also knew that because I've sat across the desk from so many people who were struggling in all of these areas that you've heard about tonight. And whereas a pastor, I could pray for them, I never felt like I had a tangible solution to put in their hands to really give them the freedom to move forward or the tools to move forward. And so I just thought, you know what, it's my responsibility when I know that there's something so great, how could I not share that? So the same day that I became a client, I also became a coach. And here's the thing, I had not lost the weight yet, but I know enough about a journey to know people would much rather take it with you than try to catch up behind you. And I wanted to be in the position to say, okay, here's what we have to offer. This is what I'm doing. Come with me on this journey. And I wanted freedom. And I don't know what that looks like for you, but I challenge you to think about it because freedom has evolved for me. Some of you may be like, listen, I'm good with finances, but do you have time freedom? Some of you may have plenty of time, but you don't have the finances. And for us, it was freedom to maybe take that vacation and not have to put it on a credit card. Freedom to actually take my kids to Disney World and not take them to, Disney Springs and try to convince them that is Disney World. I wanted the freedom to make memories with my children. That's important to me. And I didn't want to be working myself to death and not enjoy the time with them. And so I want to ask you this question. If you woke up tomorrow and there was an extra $500 in your bank account, how would that change your life? What would you do with that? What if there was an extra $1,000 that you just woke up tomorrow and it was deposited in your account? What would that do for you? What if there was an extra, 5,000? Sometimes I look at the lottery numbers. I'm like, ooh, what would we do if we won that? What would change about our life? And this is what I discovered about coaching. My vision and my dreams began to expand because I want so desperately to make an impact in this world. But the truth is, in a lot of the things that I have in my heart to do, it takes finances. It takes things like that to be able to make that happen. I had no idea that by saying yes and just living this amazing journey out loud, that so many other people would find hope and freedom. And what's amazing is as they started transforming in their health, the very same thing that happened to us happened to them. people started seeing that glimmer that you heard about in their eyes. They started seeing the transformation happening in front of them, and their transformation started to bring inspiration. And now they were able to have freedom in all of these areas as well. And I can tell you 3 years later, our life is dramatically different. We have the freedom to say yes. I remember when freedom looked like paying off credit cards, and freedom looked like being debt free, and freedom looked like, doing the vacation with our children that we imagined. And now we have the freedom to say yes and to help so many people around us. And that has been our heart. My dad tells me all the time, he is in his mid 70s and still working. And because he just loves it. This is what he tells me. He's like, Heather, you don't really have a job and you don't really work, because you're making a living by the thing that brings you life. And I thought, you know what, that is the greatest freedom of all. So I'm so glad, because outside of Jesus and my husband's marriage proposal, this was the greatest yes that we ever said. And I had no idea the ripple effect of that yes. So maybe your freedom will start just by simply saying yes and going for it. So Dan and Megan, thank you for letting us just share our heart with you guys tonight.
Oh my gosh, we love you guys. Such great people. And it's been so fun to see your journey from you guys just coming on as clients, and to seeing the world that's been opened up to you. And I'm most excited about the thousands of people that are watching this that have that same opportunity. It's there for you. We talked a little bit about this trilogy wheel earlier. So we're going to pop a poll up. And now that you've heard from somebody talking about healthy body and somebody talking about healthy mind and healthy finances, which area of this trilogy of optimal health, we call it, would you most like to improve? And you can choose all three. Yeah, you can choose all three of them or more than one if you want to. But where do you want to focus in 2021? Starting right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Right now, you can start to focus. If you're on Facebook Live or you're watching the replay, throw the answer in the comments. The choices are healthy body, healthy mind, or healthy finances. Okay, so put that in. We're going to show you the poll results in just a moment, in a couple of minutes, and we are going to wrap this up now. Is anybody else as sad as we are? Amazing stories. It's been fun hanging out with you. Give us 3 more minutes and we're going to close this thing out and tell you how you can jump in. One more thing we wanted to point out, as coaching, there are tons of growth opportunities. You come in and you start out as a coach if you choose to. And as you grow and start to build a team, you become a business coach, and the compensation reflects that. And then you can continue to move forward. And like I said, the leadership development and personal growth that happens in this company is amazing. There's a system set up to help you grow. Some of you might be going, well, I can't be a business coach. I can't be a leader. There's a system set up that will help you to grow in those areas, so that when you are a business leader, you have been equipped and prepared to do so. But that's completely up to you. If you want to come in as a coach and help a couple of people, you can do that. Or if you want to come in as a coach and help thousands and build a massive organization, then you can do that as well. All right, well-being evaluation. So we just wanted to point out a tool that's available to you when you come on board as a client or a coach. And you can check with your coach on where to access this, or the person who invited you to this call, where it actually looks at this area of healthy body. We have many times when we think about health, we think in a linear form of weight. Like my weight was X and now my weight is Y. And that describes my health. But there are so many different aspects of health. Like when you work through the life book, the habits of health, there are I think 17. I think I got that wrong. But there are a lot of areas of health when it comes to dealing with stress, environment. Sleep is important. Relationships, nutrition, exercise. It's not all just what the scale says. As a matter of fact, that's a very small part of it. So it's healthy body, it's healthy mind, and it's healthy finances. And there's actually a well-being evaluation, not a weight evaluation where you can answer all these questions and it gives you a score. And then the most exciting part, and I remember doing this 6 years ago, filling this out and getting my results back before I ever started as a client. And I was like, I'm supposed to be dead according to this. I'm like terrible. I need to hurry up and do something. And then seeing even just a few months later how much my score improved, where I could really look holistically at how my well-being, and I love that word, has improved in my life. So make sure you ask the person who invited you where to access that and get that evaluation going. Okay.
All right. I think we're also going to put up the poll results.
Oh, poll results.
Yep.
They're there.
So they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Sounds like
pretty spread out.
Yep. People want to focus on all three of these things. Some people, you might have answered one, or you might have answered all three. So here's our action steps for tonight, is that we really want you to reach out to the person who invited you. We're going to encourage you. And I think you heard that throughout the entire evening, but the only regret that anybody's had is not starting sooner. So I'm just going to encourage you, like if your heart's beating a little fast, if you kind of have that lump in your throat or you butterflies in your stomach and you're kind of like, oh, that's me. Like, I want that. Like, don't be thinking about what if I fail, or what if I this, or how can I, no, like just start today by making the decision, reach out and say yes.
Yeah. And there's plenty of diets out there. If you're looking for a diet, there's great options out there. A bunch of them actually work to help you lose weight, but do they provide lifelong transformation? Do they improve your well-being? That's the question. And we can tell you from experience, just like the stories you've heard, Optavia will do that. So make that decision to incorporate healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. And listen, even if Optavia isn't the choice for you, do something.
Yeah.
If you've been inspired to make a change, make that change. Find something that works for you. Your future self will thank you, but we sure hope you'll jump into all that Optavia has to offer, and you will join our mission, which once again is lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time.
Yep. So let's help the world create health and well-being. And it starts right here with all of us.
It starts with you. You got to put your own oxygen mask on first. So real quick announcement as we end tonight. So remember, reach out to the person who invited you and say, I want some more information. I am ready to move forward. What are the details? Let's get this thing going. You can be rocking and rolling not too long from now and crush 2021. So next week, be sure to join us every Wednesday night. We have a similar webinar. Next week, we are focusing on healthy, fresh start in 2021. And it's not me and Megan hosting, but it's some way cooler people than us. Pat and Karen Schatzland. We love those guys. They are going to be hosting next Wednesday. Again, ask the person who invited you how to access that. We love you guys. So great hanging out with you. Did I forget something?
There is a serious request from the audience for Vernon's rap.
Oh, Vernon's rap.
We're going to have to throw to that before we end.
So we have 1 minute left. Vernon, come on, as we close this out.
Still there, Vernon?
I completely forgot. Vernon, are you still with us? There he is.
Man, I so wanted to do this.
Vernon, bring us out, man. Play us out with your rap, bro.
I know we're right at time. Hey, let me leave y'all with this. I said your health is wealth, so put that money in the bank. Before I got this knowledge, it was hard for me to think. Every day I started to sink deeper. Every day my body felt like the Grim Reaper. You know it's cheaper to keep her. And I'm talking about your sanity. Although you're going to look good, this ain't about the vanity. It's about reality, not about the salary. Put it all together for a better mentality. This is Coach V saying this could be fun. Let's do a health takeover for 2021. And I'm
Come on.
That was awesome.
I do it for the VI.
I love it. Thank you, Vernon and Nikki. Thank you, Chris and Heather. Thank you, Leah. Thank you to the whole corporate team that put this together. All of our leaders and coaches that have been a part of this. It takes a team. We have loved hanging out with you, and we're excited to get to know all of you better and see you in our Optavia community in the near future. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
At Optavia, our mission is to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. The prior audio contained the personal testimonials of independent coaches and clients within the Optavia community. Their results are based on the unique experiences of their journey. We cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. We hope those stories inspire you to continue your journey with or to consider joining Optavia. But please note that they have not been verified and your individual journey to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you speak with a healthcare provider in the U.S. or a doctor in Singapore and Hong Kong prior to beginning your journey with Optavia. Additionally, this audio may have contained income or earning representations of some independent Optavia coaches. We cannot guarantee financial success. Success with Optavia is derived from successful sales efforts, which require hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Optavia acknowledges that this audio may be accessible to Optavia coaches in the U.S., Hong Kong, and Singapore. For independent Optavia coaches operating in the U.S., please see the Optavia Income Disclosure Statement for statistics on actual earnings of U.S. coaches under the U.S. Compensation Plan. Please note that the Income Disclosure Statement only applies to independent Optavia coaches operating in the U.S. under the U.S. Compensation Plan and does not in any way constitute any representations as to actual or potential accrual of benefits for Hong Kong or Singapore coaches under the International Compensation Plan. Yours in health, the Optavia team.